Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Reconnect My Heart podcast. Tonight we're going to do something a little different. I wanted to introduce you all to a dear person that's close to my heart. I have a young man that I've known all my life, well, all his life. My nephew, Trevante Prater. Um, couple of weeks ago, I had a podcast episode called "The Wound That Hadn't Healed," and it was in honor of my sister Sheila Prater. And my nephew wanted to come on here and really just share his heart. So, without further moment ado, I would like to introduce you all to my nephew Trevante Prater. How you doing today?
All right, Unc. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you so
honor.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you can tell, he's a little bit taller and his voice a little bit deeper than mine. But I'm very honored for him to be here. And this past Tuesday, I celebrated the 1 year anniversary of my sister's passing. My sister, his mom. And so, right now, what I would like to do is just open the floor for, we call him Trey, the family call him Trey, but we want to open the floor for him to just, however he want to start off, just open the floor for him to do that at this time.
All right, I appreciate you, Unc. Hope everybody out there is hearing me pretty well. Well, shoot. First and foremost, I want to give honor to God, who's always and constantly been ahead of my life. I just want to thank Him for being there for me and my family. But just speaking on me in particular, I thank God for everything He's doing for me and mine, and shucks, He continues to amaze me every day. You know, but yeah, I wanted to come out, and just really kind of fill out everything, and see kind of where I guess my spirit or where my mind will kind of gravitate toward. It's been a struggle for me. Shoot. Of course, over this last year, like all of us who've been affected by any type of tragedy, but shucks, this last couple weeks have been kind of tough for me, and shoot, I've always tried to make certain times for listening to kind of what God is trying to tell me, or how my heart's being led, or taking heed to certain signs, or and whatnot. But needless to say that it led me to just wanting to kind of have a meeting of the minds, I guess, on a public tip, and just to I guess clear out some of the cobwebs. As I embark on another year, and more holidays, and more seasons, and all of that crazy stuff, and just trying to create some space is all. I feel like that I'm shucks. I've been these last couple of weeks, like I said, kind of been tough for me from a mental standpoint. Just trying to balance, what's I guess called upon for like the everyday trade now, and still try to make time for that trade that I knew, but yeah, that's why I'm here today, and I didn't know how long, or how in fact my words would come about, but I knew just being here and having the opportunity, I really appreciate it. So
Well, like I said, I really appreciate you, and especially, um, we know this is not your forte, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're more so the man behind the scene.
Right.
You
Right.
want everybody else to take the stage, and you
Right.
hide from the stage.
Right.
But
right.
but love made you come here.
Yeah.
Love wanted you to really just open up and, like I said, just share whatever's on your heart. Um, First, with coming up to last Tuesday, you were saying that it was difficult, and I will say this: no one can really say, excuse me, they know how a person feels, especially if they never walked in that person's shoes. I will say that, but then also, even with someone who may have lost a mom or lost a sister, whatever, the dynamics of their relationship could be different than his, or could be different than that person. So many times we just have to be careful when we tell a person, I know how you feel, when you really don't know how that person feel. Somebody may have lost a mom and they haven't seen it or communicated with their mom in 20 years, But I will say this, your mom was definitely loved, not just by the family, but so many people in the community, so many people around the world, so many people, I have people even to this day letting us know how much of an impact that she made in our life, And so, with you being the firstborn, you were like my son when you were born, and for me to be able to see, you as a young man, and of course, your sister Tiara was like a daughter I've never had, but with you all being, Sheila's kids, and for y'all to grow up to be from a baby to an adult is something that God has really blessed us to be able to see and witness. Not just you growing up with wisdom and good in chest. And so like I said, I just wanted to share that. But feel free to, just in case somebody that may be just listening, they may feel like all hope is lost, and for you to come here, you're, if you want to say, that beacon of hope. There's so many people that may be in your situation who may not have someone in their family or in their life that they can lean on, So like I said, I really appreciate you even just coming up, and just want to just share whatever's on your heart.
Yeah, and I appreciate that again. Shoot, the thing that popped into my head just now was something that I know me, you, and Uncle Jerry touched on the other day. But it popped in my mind as far as my father's mom, and when I spoke on kind of our relationship, as far as me being able to, when we did have our conversations, they were always in depth and engaging and authentic. And in thinking about that, I recall last year, before mom, when my dad's mom before she passed away, I recall me going down to Parkland and seeing her, and they had different things hooked up to her, and I was there, not never really being close to my father's side of the family. I made it there in kind of a incognito kind of way. I heard through kind of the grapevine of what was going on, and my cousin Shanice reached out to me and told me where she was, and I was able to go down and see her, and um, have my last words with her. But I said that to say that I guess that transparency that I had with her that day, um, and me going to see her, like I said, we never had just a strong relationship per se, because that side really wasn't really connected, but when we would have certain conversations. But when thinking about that on the way to going to see her, I thought about the me that she didn't know, um, all phases of it, the trouble, the good guy, or whatever, like just Trey, and I decided on the way going to her that once I did lay my eyes on her, that I was going to fill her in on just who I am and some of the things that I've been through, and whatever it was that she could grab and hang on to take with her. I just wanted to make sure that with all the history that I can recall of her with my mom or with my dad, or whatever the case may be, that she had a chance to know who I was one on one. But again, I said that to say, just even to today, in this sense, I've never disclosed any of those things with anyone else. It's always been kind of just an unwritten solace that me and my mother had, to where we can just look at each other and already know what, but as far as like the specifics, no one ever really knew. But I don't know, I feel like maybe diving into a little bit of that, just because, but I don't know, I mean, being as early as as young as I was as a young kid, just reflecting on certain obstacles that we faced when I was younger, having a young mother myself, and watching her grow, and trying to figure out just who she is, and what her value is even to herself, and witnessing that. I grew up a bit of a recluse. I've always been kind of made for the background type of thing as far as the thinking goes. I've always had a better time in the shadows, I could say. But obviously, God has certain plans for me that would I guess would obligate me to kind of come to the forefront with how He's designed me, and packaged me, and instilled what all He's instilled in me, and is working on in me. But it was tough. It was tough. Just like I said, being able to just figure out, who I was, and it's like walking into the different levels of consciousness, from not getting it at all as a kid, and until you're faced with certain things, or you're witnessing certain things, and you start to become more aware, and of not only some of the expectations for yourself, but just what's making you comfortable at the end of the day. A lot of that was pushed to the side for the sake of just the family, and sanity within itself. Shoot, you know, we we lived in a lot of shelters and everything when I was younger. Um, you know, dealt with you know domestic violence and you know just seen a lot of things, and went through a lot to where I'm not using it like as an excuse or anything like that, but it was just a lot that I was maybe not as aware of as I would have wanted to be, and in that not having the like proper mental preparation to be able to compartmentalize certain aspects or feelings about certain situations and not letting it affect or hinder any type of growth moving forward. And I think that's where my imbalance kind of comes into play, because I feel myself I struggle more with the mentality of knowing what God is asking me to do, and trying to figure it out. That balance is really tough for me sometimes when I guess shucks, in the middle of grieving and all of this type of stuff. I mean, it probably carry a little more weight than it's supposed to, but just from the sense of not having like the the male bravado or example or whatever, it just it did more of it was more it made things become more of a burial for me as far as my feelings, or how I process feelings and whatnot. But I mean, shoot, just going from that into really just a lot of transitioning and no true stability, and a lot of losing a lot of friends. I had quite a few friends, and of course, you know, Uncle Bozo, Uncle Derek, family members who I lost through, you know, gun violence and just, street activities, and, you know, um, just not really knowing that, life still has to go on. My mind subliminally over time made a lot of bookmarks, a lot of check marks, lot of notes, where I would just save, rationally, just for some familiarity in unfamiliar situations. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it, in my words, I try to search for. There's a longing in my words, and it's like I'm always searching for that. Um, I want to say hope, or that well, not necessarily hope, but just that that resolution, that solution, that answer, to where I would be able to recognize me again. you know Not having my mother's extremely tough. It's extremely tough, and even from just a day-to-day standpoint of or working, or it's completely affected me, and it's as much as I knew it would. not knowing though that in the waves that it's coming in, I've always dealt with like certain anxieties and you know when it comes to certain processing certain informations. I've always had a certain place within me where I was able to kind of throw those things into. But now that I've gotten older, that place has run out of space, and my anxieties that I would have for certain informations or discoveries or interactions or I try to go with how I'm led, but shucks, it's just I would literally I can be in bed and I'll be shaking, and I try to remain as tranquil and clear and concise as possible in my thinking, while my body's conforming to, I guess, digesting those thoughts or feelings. But it's kind of an everyday thing, and it sucks, It really sucks because I don't know. I mean, I want to wear, a t-shirt without sweating, type of thing. Like I wanna be able to, I just want to be able to live. I haven't lived since, mom passed. And I feel like that I have so much incompleted work ahead of me, just from a standpoint of what I know what she would want from me, combined with what I feel like I still need to do to help cement her legacy. But it's tough, man. It's tough, and it's not a lot of minds to pour that into. So my body mentally tries to make its own like recycle system, and it it collects those thoughts as much as it can, and it processes, and the chips fall where they lay, but I generally I will come out of it feeling, once I'm able to manage it, I'm always feeling some version of myself, to where I'm able to kind of just get through that moment or get through that day, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's tough, man. It's tough, and I, it's a lot of people that, turn their back. You know what I'm saying? And not really there. They're there. But it's like I don't see them. I don't feel them. And even to the extent of prayers, like I appreciate each and every one, and for even for people, everyone who can't even be here in the physical, obviously, and obligations and just life, so I don't want any part of my words to sound have any selfishness in it at all, because I totally understand, and but it's it's tough. It's tough, and even you being her brother, and me being her son. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I guess I'm slow with my words, because I in my mind I'm cross-referencing it with different things that going on in my life, like Lauren and my daughter Lauren, and you know, everything concerning her. But you know, I'm a real. I was telling um, Hazel earlier when I was talking to her. You know, we was just, we was talking and just kind of, making peace on certain things, and I came to like a realization that I'm like a really uh, great destroyer of love. Like if my mom, she always cause she had kind of the same syndrome, but she ran from it. She looked for that certain love. That we all know is like wholesome and real and genuine and nurturing and fulfilling. But she also ran from that same thing because it forces you to do a self-reflection check, and in that self-reflection check you're grading with your own scale, your relationship with said person and how they treat you, but also yourself. And if any part of you comes back on that scantron saying, that, you're not worthy, or you're not, you're not where God wants you, part of that'll make you tuck your tail and, settle, or tuck your tail and, just accept something that isn't, necessarily for you. It was put on your path, but it didn't have your name on it. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, love is really, it's really strange. It's really strange. But again, me talking to Hazel earlier, I felt like when I was trying to be transparent with myself that I was a good destroyer of love, just from what I've witnessed, on the many ways that it can be, and from certain relationships that I've had, and my grading the will that I put into it, and it's always been easier to avoid the love, and it's just been easier to maneuver around it, because it's it could hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It could hurt you, and shucks. I don't know. I don't know where I was even going with that, but I just I had made up in my mind that even when I came to that realization earlier, that I don't want to destroy love anymore. I don't want to be the person who's an expert at tearing it down, or making someone not care about you, or just being the perfect bad guy. I'm over that, and it's not me. You know what I'm saying? So shoot, I just I struggle daily with just maintaining that peace, and until I I felt like until I, get a resolution to certain things, and I'm able to, um, you know, make sure, continue to make sure my daughter's situated, and until I'm able to just, get up and just think straight. I feel like I have a constant feeling that God is steady trying to show me something until I see it. So, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, this is therapeutic, not just for yourself, but also even for so many people, including the uncle that's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's so many people, we don't get a chance to do a self-analysis. And what I found out a lot of times, and it's funny you were speaking about love, because I was thinking today how sometimes love, when you've been hurt, sometimes love will let you know, because you're hurt, you were able to have these senses of feeling that type of love, feeling a love. So many people never experience love, and those who have never experienced love are the ones that are scared to become vulnerable. And it could be pertaining to a love in a relationship, or even a pain of losing a relationship, or even the pain of going through grief. As hurtful or as uncomfortable grief is, or a broken heart is, the thing is, you were able to love. And sometimes the devil could try to make us feel like, you know what, that was so painful, I don't want you to go through that again. Sometimes even grief, it makes you scared to love people. And I'm just gonna tell you this. I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but I've had relationships in the past that got my heart broken, but I always felt like, you know what, life goes on. But for the first time in my life last year, it made me scared to love. For the first time in my life, I felt scared to love. And it wasn't during a divorce I felt that, or had a broken heart. No, it was the death of my sister. For the first time in my life, I felt hurt because of love. Hurt because of love,
Because of love, yeah.
and some people, oh man, but they're but the depths of love.
Exactly.
You may not put a particular person in it. Like I said, a lot of times people just think love pertaining to a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband or wife. But the thing is, when you love someone from your core, and then all of a sudden there's a letdown, a breakup, or a death, it makes you question, do I have it in me again to put that same amount? Don't have to be greater amount, but same amount. Do I have enough in me to do it again?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, but I will say that, in the midst of trying to figure out whether or not, I can necessarily do it again, I've really hung on more to the way that I'm witnessing certain strengths that I've had, that I've never either used or never needed, or I tapped into these certain resources that God was able to put into me, where I was able to sustain and stay strong and keep my head up and do those things. But the thing I did want to mention though, because I wish it was just as simple as me hurting, and I wish it was just as simple as just grief. But I do know, in the midst of even the day to day, And I know some can probably relate to this, but it's a game, man. It's a game, and there's a lot of intricate pieces that help support this game. And by game, I just mean as a label for life. It's a lot of moving pieces. It's a lot of players. It's a lot of moving parts. And depending on what your motives are or what's pure in your heart, you're gonna move accustomed to that, and you're gonna base most of your decisions off of it, and those beliefs will probably cause you to uh, you know pass that on to your children, or whatever the case may be. But it goes so deep, and I that's part of it that plagues me, is that I'm old enough to understand certain obstacles or trials that are kind of asking for my participation, but I'm young enough to to get that. In a lot of cases, it's a young man's sport, and not necessarily the man within itself, but being able to keep your mind on such a flow, to where you're cognizant of what it is that of being able to recognize motives for people coming into your life, or hearing that voice, and tapping into that consciousness, to where you're not blindsided by a lot of things, and balancing that psyche with the physical day to day. That balance has always been the thing that makes me dwell deeper into my recluseness, my wanting to be alone, my depression in that sense, and make me want to punish myself mentally that much harder for my transgressions, or things that I've done or said to hurt other people, and that same game, that same lifestyle, was what my mother was a part of. It's what we're all a part of. But just speaking on my mother per se, her looking for that purity, within certain people or vessels that were not pure, or that feeds off of that purity,
Mm-hmm.
or are culture vultures, in a sense, to where they linger around, and seem timeless, in a sense, because they you'll see them 10 years ago, and then see them 10 years later, or they pop up because they for whatever reason they keep crossing your path, and being able to decipher whether or not is that for the good or for the bad. We all could make a decision that could cost us everything, but I just I just want I don't know, I want the peace that comes with knowing that everything is okay, and that I could I can have the right conversation with the right person without you know, animosity or, you know, jealousy or envy or motive or anything like that, but just, you know, us all having somebody to just, I guess, talk to. I don't know, you know, I don't know, man. It's all I got like shelves of this stuff in there, man. So you know, but yeah, that's it, man. I know God good, man, and me reflecting now, just I mean, a year later, I'm just like, shoot, man. You know, I just want the bills paid. You know, I just want the bills paid, and I want like, you know, my daughter like to keep smiling, you know, and keep feeling good when she comes over and when she's staying with me, and you know, I want to keep, you know, treating, you know, Hazel like a queen, you know, and you know, keep being accessible for my family and mentally there for, you know, the tangles of life. And you know, I want to feel I want to feel it, you know, like I'm in front of that horse again, you know. That's all.
You know, this is first of all, the scripture says, you know, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. And you may not have known why specifically you want to just come up on here, but how sometimes God can give you a nudge, and I'm not trying to be partial, but me kind of knowing you on a personal level.
Sure.
One of the things I always have seen, even in tonight, how sometimes you end up not knowing what to do, but you just quote unquote get out the house, or you just step in the middle of the street, don't know where you're gonna go, and somehow when you step out in the street, it's like you're being navigated somewhere, and you end up landing where you always wanted to be at,
Right.
or you end up receiving what you wanted.
Right.
And
right.
so this right here, this was a great start to a new beginning, because what God wanted you to do and what the devil did not want you to do was share what's on your heart. And that's one of the things that many of us as Christians, we're not very transparent. We can be hurting on the inside, but we want to acknowledge it on the outside. We want to acknowledge it to others. We won't even acknowledge it to ourselves. And also, we don't even acknowledge it to God. But because of you being here, and of course, it's not exclusively pertaining to your mom, but God allowed that as an opportunity for you to be able to share that and then some, to begin the healing process of not just the grief, but everything before the grief,
Right.
everything during the grief, and then everything after the grief.
Yeah. I truly believe that, and I hate generally when I do, because it be such a long amount of time before I open my mouth again, you know, publicly, you know, type of thing. But I did want to, you know, make clear that, you know, I don't say any of those things to be gloomy. You know, I don't say any of those things to you know, look for sympathy or any type of anything like that. It's literally just for, you know, clearing space. And you know, I honestly believe that God got me. I honestly do, and I honestly feel like the reason that, you know, He leads me, you know, when I have those feelings of wanting to be out the house and just do certain things or gravitate, it's because He's trying to show me certain things, and I believe those things, and a lot of times they reveal themselves, and I feel like I'm right on track, and other times I don't see what He's trying to show me, and I'm supernaturally frustrated because I want to know that not only am I on the right track, but I'm crossing off some some check marks that he's wanting for me, and that I'm putting myself in those opportune areas and spaces to where I'm able to maximize my potential. But I thank God, man. God is so good, man. And man, I took Lauren to school this morning, man, and was just getting her dressed and hugging on her and kissing on her, and even to tucking her in last night, just reflecting on how beautiful she looked, and wholesome and pure, and I just seen a lot of the innocence that I know that's in all of us, but that gets kind of masqueraded behind like you said, the fear of just not wanting to be hurt, or not wanting to no one wants to hear their words, feel like their words are falling on deaf ears, or wasted breath or anything like that. So but yeah, I found total solace in being able to talk to my daughter, and see a lot of my mom in her, and what she does, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by far, and me personally, I there's a lot of things that I could be better at, including being a better brother, or a better father, or countless things. But I just shoot, man, I really wanted to, if nothing else, open my mouth, and just feel like that I've again, cleared some space to where God can continue to order my steps, and I stay in His good graces.
I'm gonna say this real quick. There are many people who are reaching out and praying for you, even right now. And like I said, you may be right now representing so many people who maybe feel like they don't have a voice. They haven't got their verbiage right, but all of a sudden here you go, and you saying the exact verbiage of how they feel. They feel a certain way, but they've internalized it, and now here you are, and now you helping someone to realize that they're not alone. Like I said, that you are. There's all saying that becoming the voice of the voiceless. But one of the things that I bring up on a private conversation that we had, how sometimes we get so frustrated, and it seems like a person doesn't care, or it seems like your prayer ain't answered on this, but all of a sudden, someone you least expect, you don't have to go to them, they come to you. And all of a sudden, what you've always wanted, what you've always prayed for, it happened right before your eyes. And it seemed like it's too good to be true. And all of a sudden, when that moment happens, you want to hold on to it,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, just having that type of encounter, that gives us hope that if God can answer on that, it seems like it'll never happen. If God can allow that to happen, He can allow this to happen.
Right.
So you just never know how God works. But a lot of times the devil wants us to give up before God reveals the answers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to piggyback off what you just said, man, that's why I care about Hazel so much, man. You know, and I like the way that I love her, man. She, she, she's really like the reason I'm even like here, you know, right now, you know, uh, like, you know, she encouraged me to do it, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, be selfish about it, you know,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know, and just walk into that, and I get such a peace, man, that I only feel when I'm with my daughter. Um, I get such a peace when I'm with her. Shoot, man, it, she, man, she said a lot. She said a lot of things that remind me of mom. Um, just as far as from her encouraging standpoint, and uh, you know, having certain weights or obstacles in front of her herself that she has to work with or deal with, or um, but then still, like, I could always look in her eyes, and I always say she got those doughy eyes, like some really pretty doughy eyes, but it's you can just see the spirit in them, you know, and it's a beacon for hope for somebody like me, who's just a light towel, on a coast, trying to guide ships, um, yeah, man, she's amazing, and I know everyone has you know, their things where we feel like we should get better at, or or even as a person, being better for somebody, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like she's absolutely perfect the way she is, and I just love the fact that when I'm around her, she makes me feel that same way about myself, and something that I could never imagine doing when I'm alone, you know, because I'll compartmentalize it, and I'll tunnel vision it, and
Mm-hmm.
bury those feelings, and make that facade the man, and um, you know act off of that. But um, I love that I can be my total self around her, and those little nuggets of like me being able to kind of witness life, or witness how, like, the joy in someone, like enjoying your time, or you know watching them interact. Those little nuances help strengthen that supernatural core that I have, that I'm continually trying to find guidance on. It helps me stay afloat, man, and um, I token it to the same cloth that I base me and your conversations off of, because I feel that same purity. I can relate that in conversations that me and her have, so I it's my way of deciphering, the how authentic it is, and which it always is. And um, man, I like I said all that to say, man, I thank God for just even what He's doing, even me feeling like that I've lost so much just throughout time, and um, that I've either cost myself, or that was taken away or hindered by any means. Like, God still, He's still, he's still there, and He's still showing me by showing out, putting these outstanding individuals in my life, and you know like I said, letting them continually be a beacon for me, and you know, it's just hard to stay down. You know, it's hard to stay down. I can't stay down. I just keep, you know, I'll fluctuate, man. I'll stay up or whatever, man. But I just can't stay down. I can't stay down because of that, and I thank God for that. I truly do. I really do.
No, you're so much of a big inspiration to so many people, and I'm not just saying that. I know Jerry was mentioning a couple of days ago how, you know, people see your smile. You're known for your smile, you know. And then I remember Dylan. Dylan would always ask about that tall boy, you know.
Yeah.
And so he, you know, before he could even say, you know, Trey or
Right.
understand who you are, he just said, well, yeah, that tall one, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when we would go out places and I would see people, of course they probably used to seeing tall people, but it was something about you. You were so unique, and you've always been that way, you know. I think I was teasing Dylan the other day and telling him it was a song that when I used to watch you babysit you, I would put on the Golden Girls, you know, Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but you know, just that joy of you know, you put so much joy in so many people's lives, and a lot of times the devil try to put situations over our spiritual eyes to blind us from the love, the people, just things that God put right in front of us, you know. And I call those spiritual buyouts.
Yeah.
You know, the devil always try to give us spiritual buyouts
Yeah.
before we actually see, you know, what God, to me, what God and who God has for us, you know. So, you know, I just had to say that because, you know, when you were speaking, and like I said, you know, me seeing you from the time that you were days old up until now, and you know, I'm in amazement of what God can do. And you know, I tell people, you know, we all go through things. You know, don't ever think because brother Prater, preacher, you know, we don't go through things. You know, his hurt is my hurt. He's my family. You know, and those that know me, I'm a family person. You know, we may not see eye to eye. You know, certain in the family, certain members in the family, we may not see eye to eye. But the main thing of it is, they my family, and the way I see it, God assigned me that family member. And so if God allowed me to be in that family, then they are my assignment. And also, they my assignment. I mean, I'm their assignment. And so when it boiled down to it, you know, we're family, and we have to sometimes deal with family issues within the family. And so even though what the devil tried to do last year, what happened on March the 3rd, right after I got that phone call from you, what I kept hearing, that the devil did, it wasn't God that did that. That the devil did was a distraction. It was a distraction. It was a distraction, not just the family, collectively, but also individually too. The devil wanted to use that specific situation to distract us from whatever. I don't know everything in detail, but whatever God had for it, the devil tried to use that through somebody that we love so dearly.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing just as far as, you know, actions that maybe the devil tried to, you know, set up, or you know, my whole life, man. But I can honestly say last year, I feel like that day, it's just it's crazy how that day even just unfolded. But that day, he tried to kill me. You know, I feel like that day he tried to take me out, and changed me forever and send me down a path. I think to me it feels like, especially with how I used to, me and my mom would advise each other or counsel within each other. I'm Sheila 2.0, so
Yeah.
of course I'm gonna have a little more different perspective, more updated perspective on certain things, but yeah, he tried it, and me never knowing, not ever knowing, especially how many times I've always told my mother how much I loved her and missed her and all of this type of stuff. She knew how I felt, and it's never been a question on that. It was just always, um, what business could I handle for her?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? What can I do that that'll light her birthday cake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that'll just do it, because the emotional ties behind it. I of course I miss my mother dearly, but I feel like she never left me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I honestly
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can hear her voice like it's nothing. And so I never get sad for those moments. Because I know verbatim, word for word, exactly what she would say and how she would say it, and
Yes.
how, my God, but but just that, the fact that I knew she always wanted to be busy. She always wanted to be busy in good works, and me following behind that and chasing that also, subconsciously. I just want to continue to be the best me I can be, and as we walk into I walk into 31 in September, being 29 when I lost her, like I just it's just funny how time works.
Yeah.
It's just funny how it works, and I thank God for even that. I thank God for even that, because it's so peculiar, and it's so many loopholes and portals and trap doors in your mind and all types of things. But again, I just thank God. I thank God for everything He's doing, and I definitely want to just keep in mind always that of what, even in His silence, to me figuratively, of course, but even in His silence, that He's that He never leaves my side. Um, uh, my worst fear is definitely not feeling His presence, and I yearn for it. I definitely yearn for it, and I thank God for this, and everything. I really thank God. He didn't have to spare me.
Right.
He didn't have to. He could have took me that night, or made me do something. Not made me do something, but allowed me to, formulate my own ideals and dwell in that selfishness and act out of, something that was not pure and not formed by Him, and but He didn't.
Right.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He spared me,
Yeah.
and I was able to, though certain times, like, struggle through certain days, but I was able to finally have you know, some kind of sense of like a chapter, you know, because as time started to wane, as you know, me, you know, getting older, you know, in my 20s and whatnot, you know, it's like you would expect certain things, certain you would expect certain things, but when something comes and shakes you to your core, and it releases all of the things that you thought were important, and those things are finally, you know, behind you, it just really makes you reflect on what, you know, what should really matter, you know. But that's Lauren mom's calling right now. I need to take care of that.
Yeah.
I definitely need to take care of that. Make sure baby girl good. But yeah, I appreciate you, Aunt. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who even tuned in, or you know, took a second to even, you know, listen to this kid here. You know, I appreciate you guys, and Uncle, I appreciate you.
My honor. What we're gonna do, this is number one, this is not the end of it, and I'm very honored, very glad that you came here, and you know, just want to share with us what was on your heart, and just know that these are not prayer requests that, you know, we have said publicly, and we're gonna have God to move, and you know, because of the time, we're gonna say a quick prayer, but we speaking right now that God come in and help us right now in the name of Jesus. Help us, God, to be able to receive what you are even sharing with us, even at this moment, God. God, the prayer requests that have been before you right now, God. We're speaking, God, that it don't turn on deaf ears, God. God, you see Trey right now, God. And not only Trey, God, even those who are watching, God, those who may be listening, God, who may feel the same way, who may have had some type of experience, God, with the devil tried to shake them from the foundation. We're speaking right now, God, that you intervene and help and heal and deliver and set free right now. In the name of Jesus, we bind everything the devil stand for us and the back to the pits of hell. We bind every spirit that's unlike God right now. We bind every panic attack, we bind every fear, we bind every anxiety right now. In the name of Jesus, and Lord, we thank you, Lord, for the healing and the restoring right now, God. And God, we speaking, God, that you even touch the heart of those who are grieving right now, God. And we thank you, Lord, for everything you've done, everything you're going to do. We thank you, Lord, for the testimony right now. In Jesus' name we pray. We say amen, amen, amen. Mr. Javante, excuse me, Trey.
Yes, sir.
But man, I appreciate you. I love you dearly, man. I thank you, and you know, just as much as you've had nephew, uncle time with me, now it's time for daddy duty.
Right, exactly.
But we appreciate you.
Switch hats right now, man.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all dearly. Thank y'all for watching Reconnect My Heart, and God bless you all, and good night. Okay.